30 years of the best sports talk in Middle Tennessee, featuring Tennessee Radio Hall of Famer George Plaster, Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame coach Watson Brown, and Young Guns Billy Derrick. And now, here's your host, George Plaster.
Hello again, everybody. Welcome in. It is a beautiful Thursday afternoon in Nashville, Tennessee. Billy says move that way, so we're moving that way. Does that make you happy?
That's better.
Well, good. Somehow I don't think it's the big issue of the day in the world.
No, it's not.
Anyway, we are at our digs at the Fordyce Center in Bellevue. Let's get it started as we do throughout football season. Terry McCormick's Daily Titans Update, depressing as it may be, is brought to you by Lori Burnett Leland. She wants to be your mortgage lady, and through the folks at USA Mortgage, that is absolutely possible. So dial her up, 615-969-4350. The smile, obviously, is on Terry's face. It's all about Juan Soto. You realize you damn well better sign him. This 1 year, hope that you get it done.
And we're not like your team, George. We spend money.
Oh, I know. Yours gets spent foolishly.
Sometimes, yes. Does the name
Stupidly.
Carlos Stanton mean anything to you?
Yes. So you're a happy camper, even though you gave up half your pitching staff.
Well, did you see our pitching staff last year outside of Garrett Cole?
Oh, I did. I was in Atlanta. We only scored 14 on you the night I was there.
There you go.
Okay, so what's going on out there?
Well, George, I talked to Kyle Phillips today, and he was kind of a surprising scratch on Sunday when they faced the Colts, given that he and Will Levis had kind of gotten on the same page. I think he'd been the team's second or third leading receiver since Levis assumed the starting quarterback spot. And one of the things that Kyle said was that, ironically, the thing that, got him on the field initially, his special teams ability and returning punts, now that he's no longer doing that, it's keeping him off the field as a receiver because they need other people up to fill those game day roster spots that play special teams, guys like Colton Dow. And then now that Traylon Burks is back and playing again, Phillips is the odd man out. He said, it's frustrating, but he understands it. But, I think that, they need to rethink this with as few weapons as they have. I think they probably should rethink some of that, in my opinion, try to see if they can figure out a way to get this guy on the field a little bit more.
Okay, let's play devil's advocate here. If he catch the ball every once in a while as a punt returner, he might still have that job.
No, there's no doubt about that. His miscues on special teams as the punt returner is what cost him that role. And it's why Eric Garrer is doing that now. But, he still can be a valued guy as a slot receiver, but it doesn't seem to be a position that they place a lot of potential value on.
What else you got?
Well, talked to Jeffrey Simmons today. He's obviously their Walter Payton Man of the Year. Had a brace on his right knee as he recovers. He's going to be out at least a couple of weeks. Said he doesn't know if he's going to make the trip to Miami and cheer them on or if he's going to just sit at home and watch it on TV like the rest of us, George. But it's going to be really difficult with no Jeffrey Simmons and probably no Christian Fulton out there for the Titans this week going against that Miami offense. That's, you got to be ready for a track meet when you play them.
Oh, my God, yes. And I guess the other thing is this late in the year, it's probably a lot warmer and a lot stickier down there. And let's face it, in the last month, 6 weeks, players aren't used to that.
That's true, and that could be a factor. It's not I mean, it's warm today for Tennessee weather, but it's not going to be, balmy and 72 at 8 o'clock at night down there like it is, down in Miami. So interesting.
Very interesting. Okay. Anything else on your end?
Well, that's about it. Like I said, several guys, including Simmons and Fulton, that weren't out there in the open part of practice today.
Okay. That's not good news unless you're taking the other route and saying we want them to lose for a higher draft pick. And that's kind of where they are right now. Terry, thank you as always.
All right, George, we'll see you tomorrow.
Terry McCormick's Daily Titans Update brought to you by Lori Burnett Leland. She wants to be your mortgage lady, and through the folks at USA Mortgage, that absolutely can happen. 615-969-4350. Let's bring in Kelly Holcomb from Murfreesboro. Kelly, this is where you find out who the real pros are. I mean, they've still got more than 5 weeks left in what is a miserable end to the season.
Yeah, it's tough, George. It really is. I've been on situations like that where on the last game, all the guys had their stuff in their car packed. Some of them had trailers. Let's go. We're going. Like team meeting, we're going. But yeah, you have 5 weeks left. And even though you're not winning, you're still on tape. And it comes down to a point. I've said this before. This is kind of a brutal way of saying it, but you play as a team, but you have to be individually motivated. You have to, like, some guys are going to check out. Some guys that are making all that money, they have nothing to worry about. But if you're on that list of, hey, I've got to keep playing, and that does happen. Some guys don't have to, but other guys do. And you're putting out a resume for the other 31 teams. So you've still got to keep playing no matter what the score is, no matter what your record is.
Yeah.
You have to keep playing football because you're trying to, if you're not going to stay with the Titans, you're trying to put a resume and some things on tape that show other people, hey, I'm worthy of this. So I need to keep playing.
Well said. Billy.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hello.
What do you got? Do you have an update?
I do.
In our future?
We got a lot today. It's survival mode for some Titans players, and we'll see if we survive tonight's Thursday night game. The over-under tonight for Patriots Steelers is testing a 30-year low. It dipped down to 29.5 earlier this week before settling at a consensus 30 as of this morning around sportsbooks. So that would be the lowest over-under since 2006.
It should get great ratings. I mean, right now, the possibility of Pittsburgh and New England playing, it tells me one thing, Kelly. I'm going to the Preds game.
Yeah, I'm probably not going to watch that either. That's hard to watch. It's about like the Titans offense, hard to watch.
Ooh.
Well, last night's Belmont-Lipscomb game wasn't hard to watch. That was a great game.
I was there.
At the Curb Event Center. Belmont pulled it out late, 72-71. Malik Dia had 15. Jacoby Gillespie had the game-winning free throw, I guess you could say, with 5 seconds remaining. Dia's a heck of a player, and I think Vanderbilt right now is looking over saying, what do we do with him? I know there were some other circumstances involved there. But.
George, I got a question for you about that game. I was watching it, and at the end, did the referees get too involved? I didn't think that guy. I didn't think the one that the Belmont kid made. I didn't think that was a foul. The guy tried to get out of his way.
Right. You might be right. I have not seen it on film.
Are you talking about the and one late, Kelly? At the end?
And one late. Okay. Yes, it didn't look like the kid was fouled at all. The guy was trying to get out of the way, and then Lipscomb gets the ball back, and it looks like if you're going to call that foul, you better call the foul down on the other end.
Yeah, I didn't see that ending.
Here's what I did like last night. That game had an electricity to it that was really cool.
Yeah.
Belmont's students were there. Oh, man, they were there. It's the biggest student crowd that I want to say I've seen since they beat Vandy several years ago. There was a real feel, a big-time atmosphere, a game that meant something to both teams. They're both really well coached.
Yeah.
And then down, a mile away at Memorial Gym, I'm going to ask the question. When are we getting rid of Jerry Stackhouse? It's time. It's been time. This program is a joke. Look at Memorial Gym. There's nobody in there. Nobody gives a damn. I'm frustrated.
Yeah.
What are we waiting on?
That's a good point.
Good
George. And
Lord.
I don't know if they had half
This is not Golden State that beat them. This is the University of San Francisco.
Yeah.
Okay. Bill Russell is not walking through that door.
Wow.
not.
Yeah.
I like it, George. I like it.
Well, and Presbyterian beat them earlier.
Presbyterian beat them. I mean, this thing is a joke.
Yeah, San Fran beat them 73-60. Vandy's lost 3 of their last 4. And I don't know if you guys have heard of the Ken Palm ratings. Ken Pomeroy comes out with new ratings, and that's
Sure.
one of the big numbers in college basketball. Vanderbilt is at 209 right now.
Which I think is as bad as that program has. It's the worst number I can ever remember them having.
Teams like UT Martin and Austin Peay are higher in those ratings. Ole Miss is the next closest team in the SEC. They're at 99 in those ratings.
So you went to it.
Yeah.
1,500?
I mean, maybe, yeah, about 1,500 to 2,000. I mean, that's what it looked like. I didn't see an official number, but it just, you kind of look around and no one's really there. I mean, it's pretty easy to see.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, it's time for somebody over there to care.
They've got about 10 days off for exams now, so they'll play Texas Tech up next on the 16th. So
this would be a good time to fire him. It gives him more time for Christmas golf because he certainly has spent no time recruiting. This is his 5th year at the school, and he's got 2 really good guards, and the rest of them couldn't win a Green Hills Y 4-on-4 run and shoot.
No, nothing's really changed from year 1.
And Kelly, I know. Listen, I'm a veteran of that league.
Wow, you were on fire today, Hoss.
I'm pissed off. This is ridiculous.
I agree.
Look, the football has some built-in, if you want to call it, excuses. Okay? You've got, you got to have 85, 90, whatever the number is. In basketball, you got to have, 12 on a team. Get yourself 4 decent players. They're not making a lot of effort at recruiting. And that absolutely starts with the head coach. And it's a joke. It's a complete joke.
Yeah, we'll see if it gets any better. It doesn't look like it will. So
I don't see where it's gonna. I don't think the talent is there. Look, I don't question that the man can coach. Okay? I think that's probably his strength. I think he's lazy. I think in recruiting, you've got to get out there, and he's too worried about his golf game.
You got a point.
Is he a good golfer?
I don't know. I'm not.
We've seen.
Yeah.
Let's go to college football.
Thanks for asking.
Contract negotiations between Michigan and Jim Harbaugh are ongoing, including an extension at over $11 million per year. However, sources say that a deal is not imminent. There's still work to be done.
Now, what does that say? I mean, wouldn't you have him on a little bit of double secret probation, even though, now if he wins the national title, all's going to be forgiven. I can see where Kelly's going here. I can see that disgusted look. They don't care.
Yeah, they do not care, man. If you're bringing money into the program and you're winning games, I mean, they do not care what you've done outside of the realm of football. They don't care.
It feels like a big middle finger to the NCAA.
Well, it's also, I mean, it lends credence to Connor Stallions for Heisman Trophy. The guy has done more for his team than any player in the country.
Maybe that comes to fruition.
I'm wound up pretty good, aren't I, Kelly?
You're wearing it out this today. It's amazing. I like it.
Thank you.
Keep going.
We need more Vandy basketball games.
No.
Okay. According to Ross Dellinger, Duke is finalizing a deal to make Penn State defensive coordinator Manny Diaz its next head coach.
Kelly, go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say, I think would be a pretty solid hire.
Kelly, you know Manny, I think, don't you?
I knew him when he was at Middle. Yeah, I talked to him several times. I like him. I mean, I like him. He's the kind of defensive coordinator that if I was a head coach, I would like. Now, I know that him and Mac Brown got into it. Mac Brown kind of showed him up really bad that one game. But now sometimes Manny doesn't do things that are sound, but the guy is not scared to bring the kitchen sink at you, and that's what I love. I do enjoy watching his defenses.
So I guess I'm a little surprised he flamed out at Miami.
Yeah.
And now Duke in that league is going to hire him. That I'll admit that surprises me.
Yeah, Duke is a hard sell too. I know that they contacted him for this middle job as well, trying to get him to come back. But he bombed out at Miami. I don't know, just he's from that area. I think his dad isn't his dad in politics down there. I think Manny Diaz's dad is in politics.
I don't know. Don't know that.
Yeah, but he kind of flamed out down there, and he's kind of resurrected himself into something. And that's like the Kevin Elko guy did a really good job at Duke. Maybe he can keep it going. I don't know. We'll have to see. We got to give him a chance.
Tough job.
Yeah, Duke. Duke gets labeled as a really tough job, and obviously it still is. But David Cutcliffe elevated that program to a nice level where Elko could take over, and now kind of passing it down. I think they've been elevated by the coaches they've had, back-to-back really good coaches. I know Cutcliffe wasn't happy with the way they handled that, but I think Duke might be a better job than people may think right now.
Well, look, I'm very biased. David Cutcliffe was little short of a miracle worker at Duke. Mm-hmm. If you look at the whatever years, it was about 8-year run of really pretty respectable stuff. And, I don't know that he got the full credit, and I'm biased. Look, I'm a big Cutcliffe fan. Man went to a Braves game with me, for God's sakes.
Hey, Lord, help him for doing that.
Tough job.
We had a good time.
Good job, Billy.
And he agreed with me. It was good you weren't there.
And you know what? I'm glad I wasn't there.
And we are too. Merry Christmas.
Let's go group of 5. AAC Commissioner Mike Oresco is retiring. He's been the league's commish since 2012. So new leadership in the American. Saw that earlier today. Also, LSU quarterback Jaden Daniels is the AP College Football Player of the Year. Heisman ceremony Saturday night. Does he win it?
Well, let me ask you all this. What do you think happens Saturday night? Kelly, let's start with you.
Well, I was sold on Bo Nix, and then he didn't play well last week. I think if he wins that game, he would have won it. But I think you got to put Michael Penix in the driver's seat, don't you guys think?
Yeah, I'm with you because of the win. I mean, we said whoever wins Oregon-Washington is in that driver's seat. Now it feels like Penix kind of has the lead there, but we'll see. Penix, Nix, Daniels, and Marvin Harrison Jr. will go up for it. Also, some golf news. Reports are saying Jon Rahm is headed to LIV. It's a done deal, and the PGA Tour is in a state of chaos. The deal could be worth $450 to $600 million, the largest deal in LIV golf history. Multiple sources say that Patrick Cantlay is calling the shots for the PGA Tour. It seems like the Rahm move is a sign that LIV is at least prepping for a future with no deal. And my question is, I thought the PGA bought or owned LIV, so LIV wouldn't destroy the PGA. But it looks like the PGA is being destroyed. I'm a little confused there.
I'm a little confused. Didn't Rahm at some point in the last year, 18 months, criticize the ones that had fled to LIV?
Yeah. That's what I thought.
I don't know, but I'm sure he's probably like the rest of them. I'm sure he did. I just never saw it. I know that Roy McIlroy's been outspoken and Justin Thomas, some of those guys. But, man, that's how do you turn that down, guys? I mean, like, if they're doing – how do you turn that down?
Yeah, it's a good point.
I've never had to worry about it.
I know, but like Phil Mickelson, I can – like Phil Mickelson made like $500 million or probably more on the PGA Tour. I'm not quite sure that I understand why he went, why he's totally – like trying to just create so much division in the PGA Tour. But, like, if you're Jon Rahm, you hadn't been in as long as Phil Mickelson has. And, like, how do you turn down $450 to $600 million?
That's tough.
It'll make paying your bills easier when you get that.
Yeah.
When you get that phone bill, the cell phone bill, you can probably find enough change in the back seat. Oh, here's 20,000. Sure, no problem.
Sure, go ahead and take it.
Lightning and Preds tonight at Bridgestone, 7:00.
Plasmosis will be there.
Well,
That's all I got.
Section 304, row 1, if you're.
And you won't be watching the Thursday night game.
No, under no circumstances. Okay, after the break, I'm going to lay out a couple of things that I think I've learned in the baseball winter meetings as they pertain to Nashville as an expansion city. And then Danny Evans will join us. Ironically, he once worked for Jerry Reinsdorf, who suddenly is making headlines here in our city. He apparently met with our mayor a couple of days ago about the White Sox and their stadium lease that runs out in 2029. We will talk about that and more when we come back.
It was the most horrible experience that any mother could ever go through. I knew that I needed to get help. My friend, she immediately said, "You need to call Bart Durham." And you guys were there within an hour. You guys are like family for us.
Yeah, sure is nice to connect with the people that you're doing your best to help.
As the trusted premier custom home builder in Middle Tennessee, Donley Timmons has over 20 years of experience in the industry. Whether you're looking to build your dream home or renovate your current home, their team will ensure that every client and every remodel is unique, luxurious, and completed on time within budget. Founders Dustin Timmons and Joey Donley have over 25 years of construction experience in the Nashville area. Together, they have completed projects in Forest Hills, Oak Hill, Green Hills, Franklin, and Brentwood. Dustin and Joey believe that communication is the most important aspect of all construction projects. Therefore, they personally manage each project themselves and are involved in job site activities on a daily basis. Their commitment to quality and integrity has earned them an outstanding reputation among their clients. Contact them to set an appointment for a free consultation or to view some of their completed projects. Give them a call at 615-456-7983 or log on to DonleyTimmons.com.
I'm Watson Brown.
I'm Kelly Holcomb.
I'm Billy Derrick.
We're the George Plaster Show. We've been Nashville's best sports talk for the last 30 years. And you know what? We still are.
Catch us live weekdays from 2 to 4 p.m. Central Time in Nashville on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. Also, the podcast version is available on Spotify and Apple Podcasts.
Looking for more than just awards and trophies? Southern Trophy House is your one-stop solution. For over 60 years, their team has created lasting impressions with a personalized touch. From embroidery to screen-printed apparel to corporate awards, signs, and name badges, they have everything you need to keep your brand shining bright. With their knowledgeable customer service team, you can relax as they create, produce, pack, and ship merchandise and awards on time and on budget. That includes etched crystal awards, custom-cut acrylic, name badges, embroidered Richardson ball caps, banners, screen-printed T-shirts, laser-engraved Yeti cups, and knives. Recognize your hard-working team from Southern Trophy House, where they do their best to help you recognize your best. Located at 2705 Nolensville Pike in Nashville, give them a holler, 615-256-7295. Visit southerntrophy.com. Southern Trophy House, for all your personalization and recognition needs.
Well, for all intents and purposes, the baseball winter meetings are over from the Gaylord Opryland Hotel. As is always the case when it comes to baseball, Danny Evans is right. He told me this months ago when I said, hey, it would make a lot of sense for MLB to say to all these expansion wannabes, have your stuff and gear and be ready at the winter meetings to talk to us about it. And Danny told me then, I don't think that's the way it'll work. And as it turns out, I think he was right. Danny will join us in about 2 minutes. So here's what I think I do know, because I've been getting conflicting reports on Dave Stewart. Some of you who watched the show yesterday heard Clint Hurdle say that Dave Stewart was with him as part of the MLB draft lottery and that he was telling Brad Paisley of his plans for trying to get Nashville an expansion franchise. I had been hearing for a couple of weeks and reported this last week on the show that Dave Stewart was no longer a part of this John Lore group. Now, this is, if you go to their little flow chart under home team, you'll notice that Dave Stewart's name is no longer there. 2 months ago, Dave Stewart's name was above John Lore's. So now we've got managing partner, whatever the hell that means, John Lore, and we've got all the people underneath him. I will continue to say what I've been saying. This group is the emperor with no clothes. They've got no owner. They've got no real money. Pay no attention to what they're up to. Now, as for Dave Stewart, what he has always had, the ace in the hole that people know him have told me, is that he is very close with the head of Oracle. And as a lot of you know, Oracle, which has been a West Coast-based company, is moving some of its offices to Nashville. If you go down to where Top Golf is, Oracle is building some infrastructure down there. So it'll be very interesting to see where all of that goes. In the meantime, it's gotten out in the last 24 hours that White Sox owner Jerry Reinsdorf has met with our mayor, Freddie O'Connell. Let me say that I made the attempt earlier today to reach Freddie O'Connell, and as of yet, he has not returned my text message. As for Reinsdorf, he's 87 years old. One of his big claims to fame, he has been the owner of the Bulls during the Michael Jordan era, which at times was brilliant. At times it was unbelievable, tumultuous. White Sox, not so much so. A ballpark that was built around 1990, and I think being kind, it's just kind of plain. It doesn't have quite the amenities that a lot of the new parks have got. The lease between the White Sox and the city on this place is 2029. So you can see where Jerry Reinsdorf is saying, I've got to start creating a few options. Okay, with all of that in mind, I will ask Danny Evans one question about Jerry Reinsdorf, and then we will get on to the winter meeting stuff. Here is our rock star of the winter meetings, Danny Evans, who was absolutely brilliant out there, and I'll explain that in a minute. Danny, tell us about Reinsdorf.
Well, first of all, George, it's good to see you again this
Same
weekend.
here.
That was a lot of fun. Jerry Reinsdorf is just an exceptional businessman. He's owned the White Sox since January of 1981, and he is searching sites in the Chicago area, trying to develop options versus their ballpark, which was built in 1990, and I was there in 1990 when it opened. I think it shows the viability of the Nashville franchise. I think it displays that the community and just basically the region is a possibility imminently for Major League Baseball, whether it's a shift or whether it's an expansion franchise. We don't know the content of the discussion. We don't know who initiated it, but I think it sounds to me that if it was White Sox oriented, it's Reinsdorf doing his due diligence.
Isn't it also him maybe saying, look, not that I'm the king of this, but you're the best thing going?
Well, as I said, I think it shows the viability of Nashville as a spot. There's no doubt. Just having been there again this week, George, there's no debate in my mind whatsoever about whether or not Nashville would be an elite market. I think it would be terrific. And I think, when you're there and you feel it and you experience it, I think, there's no surprise for me. And I think one thing about the business side of the game, you always have to explore options. And if, in fact, the mayor and Reinsdorf had those discussions, they're both doing what's in the best interests of their position.
Are you aware that I showed a picture of you interviewing Dave Roberts a couple of days ago?
No, I was not aware.
I don't know. Is there a way to pull that sucker up? We showed it a couple of days ago because I was bragging on you. Danny Evans was an absolute rock star at this event, and hopefully we can pull this thing up in a minute. Tell people exactly what you were doing here, because it really fired me up.
Well, among my many hats I wear, George, one of them is mentoring for sports management worldwide. I've been doing it for a decade now. It's my give back to a game that's been great to me. And what we do is we host an annual baseball career conference at the Winter Meetings. This year we were sold out once again. And what we do is we tip people off about opportunities and ways of working in the game. I teach a class on a weekly basis, been doing it for 10 years. It's awesome. I have so much fun. We have 400 alums working in the game. But what we did on Monday, actually Sunday evening, as you know, and Monday, is bring in some elite speakers from throughout the sport to talk to the participants, the attendees, about a career in baseball, what it looks like. And then they're available to answer any questions. It was a huge success again this year. I'm really proud of what we accomplished. And one of the highlights is my good friend Dave Roberts. He was absolutely excited as heck to come speak, and I thought we had a lot of fun in our 30 minutes.
I was in the room, and I later joked with Dave Roberts that I've been rooting against you every night for years. And he looked at me and he said, "Why is that?" I said, "Because I'm a Braves fan." And we got a good laugh over that. Danny, we're going to show the picture here in a minute. But, in fact, there it is. You with Dave Roberts. I was
pretty good seat. And me with a tie, George, which is not exactly a common occurrence on my planet.
Okay, in his life, did Nick Hunter ever see you wear a tie?
Once, and he threatened to cut it.
Oh, I believe it. And did we ever see Nick in a tie?
Negator.
Never. Anyway, it was, Danny, how, what's the word I'm looking for? How good a feeling is it in an industry where if a job of any magnitude opens up, there are 100 resumes if that job pays anything? How good a feeling is it when you know you've helped one of your students get one of those?
Oh, it's huge, George. It's wonderful. I mean, the sport has been so good to me. I have had so much fun chasing that little white ball all around the world. And, it's taken me to places I never thought and given me roles that I never anticipated. But the give back for me, and it's my mentor role in Heman in the back of my head all the time, trying to give back to the sport. And what I chose a little more than 10 years ago was doing this and leaving a legacy of newly anointed sports executives and just trying to give them, prop them up and help them prepare for interviews and whatnot. And George, over 75% of our attendees had interviews lined up this week. So I am thrilled, and one of them already received a job offer. So I'm excited. It's part of my give back to the game, and I'm really proud of what we have accomplished as a group.
You should be proud of it. It's an incredible thing you're doing. I knew it was really good, but when I got to see it firsthand, both Sunday at the Sound Stadium Club and then Monday across the street from the Opryland Hotel, man, it just blew me away. And you did a terrific job with Dave Roberts.
Well, George, thank you. And George, thanks for your help lining up some of the Nashville Sounds personnel and the Vanderbilt University baseball staff. I really appreciate our friendship, and you said a few words at the event, and I think it was really wonderful that we were able to get a Nashville flavor as part of the whole event.
I told the would-be broadcasters, get out before you get in. But it was fun to talk with that group of them later. So I'm going to ask one thing, then we'll go to the break, and then I'll let Kelly ask questions, because he asks better stuff to you than I do. Are you surprised? What's the matter, Kelly? You have to turn your mic on.
Yeah, I'm not doing that. Billy's doing it.
So
I mean,
what's your
just
thought?
not true. I don't have better questions, man. I just want to know this. Like, when you come, is this like the NFL Combine? When y'all come to the Major League Baseball meetings, do you get anything accomplished, or is it just buddies going out drinking? Is that what you're doing?
Well, who said there was any problem with guys going out drinking? Now, come on. Now, I'll tell you what, it's twofold for me, Kelly. I was telling Kathy, the love of my life, this morning that it's just wonderful to catch up with so many friends that have touched your career throughout. I mean, I've been in the game for more than 4 decades. I got a lot of friends at the winter meetings, but there is no deadline at the end of the meetings. So as a result, Kelly, a lot of the discussions lead to other things as you go forward. I mean, Kelly, you meet with the 29 other clubs and you meet with all the agents. So you really don't have much time to get anything done. But as an example, the Yankee trade that occurred with the Padres late last night, that was all done at the winter meetings in Nashville. So, and I think you'll see some more moves between now and Sunday, and I think you'll see a couple big ones.
Why don't we do this? Let's go to the break. But real quick, tell the story about you're almost not getting to the Dave Roberts talk on time. Listen to this, Kelly. You'll love this.
Yeah, and Kelly, here I am moderating the thing, okay? So I run back. He was staying at an undisclosed downtown hotel.
Undisclosed?
So I hopped in undisclosed, because I want to stay there next time. And we hopped down from the Inn at Gaylord down to this undisclosed hotel. And I popped in, and Dave and I had a couple words. We've been buddies for 20 plus years. And then Joe Torre, Jim Leland, Jane Forbes Clark, who is the chairman of the Hall of Fame.
Is this Hall of Fame?
Jim Tomei, and about 4 or 5 other people surrounded us, and we were having a spirited, fun conversation. Dave looks at me, and he points at his watch, and he's like, "Gotta go." And I said, I know we got to go, but we can't leave these guys. And a couple of them said, "Where are you going? We'll come with." And I said, no, you can't come with. We're not prepared for all of you guys to come in. And at the same time, I'll be very honest, I didn't want to dilute Dave's impact in the show. So we hopped in the car, and David said to me, he goes, "Can you believe we were even in that discussion?" He said, "That's baseball deity." And I just said, "I know." I said, "But I hit 7th in that lineup, and I'm okay hitting 7th in that lineup." It was one of the many moments at the winter meetings that I look back with a big grin.
So not only in the back of the room, once you got there, was I taking pictures, one of which we used on the show. I was trying to give you a thumbs up. You were doing great. And I loved the format of what was going on. Anyway, we'll go to the break. We'll talk a little more winter meetings with our baseball rock star, Danny Evans. Please stay with us on the George Plaster Show.
Forget the fact that Sir Speedy Music City is owned by my BGA classmate James Warren. Their work stands on its own merit. James and his staff do incredible work, as evidenced by the huge banners at the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night. If you're looking for quality to help your marketing and business communications, and you want it at a reasonable price, these are your folks. Call them at 615-832-9511 or go to print at sirspeedymusiccity.com. And be sure to tell them Plaz sent you.
Family owned and operated for more than 2 decades, Alaco Fine Wood Floors is Nashville and Middle Tennessee's choice for premium quality hardwood floors. Since 1995, Jimmy Alaco and his army of employees have embodied the approach of taking pride in one's craft and providing superior customer service, growing from a one-man shop to a team of 23 professionals who share the founder's passion for quality craftsmanship and customer satisfaction. If you are interested in contacting them, you can find their headquarters at 2505 Winford Avenue in Berry Hill, or give them a call at 615-356-0303. Again, that's 615-356-0303, or log on to alacofinewoodfloors.com. Alaco Fine Wood Floors, serving Middle Tennessee's hardwood flooring needs since 1995.
Over the years, more men have started to seek help for hormone deficiencies and imbalances, and Dr. Jeffrey Lodge and wife Daphne, along with their experienced staff, give men the treatment required to improve their quality of life, improve your immune system, energy level, cognitive function, and more. There's no better time to achieve a healthy lifestyle. What are you waiting for? Give Cool Springs MD a call today for an appointment at 615-486-3458 or visit the website coolspringsmd.com.
For over 35 years, Wilson Bank & Trust has been committed to providing customized banking solutions to help individuals, families, and businesses in Tennessee achieve their goals. As your full-service community bank, we are proud to offer loans with competitive rates, local decision-making, and fast, friendly service from our experienced lenders. No matter where you are on your financial journey, Wilson Bank & Trust is ready to help you take the next step. Visit your nearest Wilson Bank & Trust office or online at wilsonbank.com to get started today. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Billy, where did you get that picture of Danny? Because he's wearing a tie in that picture.
I usually use that one. I found it on the internet.
Nice. So
Which
Kelly,
one is that?
What's the other tie you own?
Now, I got a lot of ties, George, but usually the only time I wear a tie is when I'm giving somebody a whole lot of money.
I love it. I love it. Okay, Kelly, what do you got for him?
Well, first thing I've got is, why didn't I get a call while you were in Nashville? I mean, you hang out with George, which is like, yeah, I don't understand that. Second of all, I mean, I got no call. You know what I'm saying?
Kelly, first of all, I want to clarify the facts here. George hung with me. And the second part of it is, Kelly, I got 7 hours of sleep in 3 days. I worked the entire time, and I will tell you, I wish I would have had the downtime that I anticipated, but it was a crazy busy period for me, which, is why I'm there. But
also
it
your
was
lifeblood.
Yeah, and it's just really hard. My goal was to get away and do a little sim golf with you guys, but that wasn't even a possibility. So I'm going to send you the scorecard when I do it.
So just give me an idea. What all did you do? I know you were up there with Dave Roberts, and you're talking to some young kids, but what other things did you have to do while you were at the winter meetings?
Well, I'm a consultant for baseball, and as a result, a lot of people needed some time, needed some conversations. I also am the executive vice president of a tech company that's baseball related, so we had multiple meetings there. I attended some meetings that were Major League Baseball oriented for some of our sports management worldwide students. And at the same time, Kelly, very candidly, I interacted with a lot of people from a business perspective who had questions, comments, potential, jobs down the line. It was actually a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. But boy, when I got on that plane, was I wiped out. And I connected through Houston, and I do not believe I was awake a single minute of those 2 flights.
You must have been tired. So I've been trying to be prepared for this, but the Juan Soto trade goes through to the Yankees. What about, I'm hearing, is the Yamamoto guy? I mean, is it between the Mets and the Yankees as well? Or, I mean, is that what you're hearing? Or
Well, the Soto trade, first of all, Kelly, good call. That was an outstanding trade for actually both teams. So, imagine Soto in the middle of that Yankee lineup in that ballpark with the short right center field porch. I love the guy as a bat. I think it's a great trade for the Yankees, but it's a really good trade for the Padres at the same time. My protege, AJ Preller, I think, did a heck of a job landing 5 players and giving up $30+ million in salary, which I'm sure he's going to turn in to players. So I thought that was a good deal. Yamamoto's got a lot of interest. There's at least 7, if not 8 clubs that are all over this guy. And I think, Kelly, once Ohtani makes his decision this week, I'm hearing he's going to decide Saturday or Sunday. When he decides, I think the dominoes will fall at that point. And I think Yamamoto is going to have a very lucrative payday.
so George said that yesterday we talked to the Clint Hurdle guy, and it's kind of amazing because I've asked you questions about Ohtani, and I asked him kind of the same thing. And it's funny that you get a consensus about how good of a guy and how good of a player he is and kind of a generational talent. But where do you think he's going to go? Because I'm reading today, like, maybe Toronto. I've always said that I thought he was probably going to go to the Dodgers, but I mean, where do you think he's going to land?
I think he's going to go to the Dodgers, the Angels, or the Cubs. I don't think he'll go to Toronto. That's just my gut's telling me. I think it'd be good for the game for him to be in a major U.S. market because I think it would be good for the ratings. It would be good for the sport. And I'll tell you one thing on Ohtani. He's the logjam right now. But if you think about it, Kelly, and you played, you understand this. This is his last bite of the free agency apple. If I'm him, I take my time. This is my last personnel decision of my career. I want to get it right. And teams are obviously talking to him a lot, but I just don't think the Dodgers or the Cubs are going to lose out to Toronto or someone else.
I got you. My last thing here is I was going down. I want you to educate me on that. What is Rule 5? What is that Rule 5 stuff? Do you know what that is? What is that?
I know what it is very well. I had a lot of success with some great Rule 5 picks, Kelly. What you do is you protect up to 40 players on your major league roster. And then any player who has been in professional baseball for 4 or more years is subject to being exposed in the Rule 5 draft. And a club can claim the player for $100,000. The player has to remain on the active 26-man roster throughout the season, or has to be offered back to each of the other 29 teams before going back to his original team. And, Roberto Clemente, George Bell, Johan Santana, there's been some great Rule 5 picks. I've been really lucky. I've had about 4 stick and become really good players, but that always signifies the conclusion of the winter meetings.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome, man.
Did you say Roberto Clemente?
You betcha. He was a Rule 5 draft by the Pirates.
Wow.
George, it's a great story. They hid him in Vero Beach all year, and they didn't allow anybody to come in and watch him practice, watch him play. There were no admissions. And a scout from the Pirates, a great scout from the Pirates, snuck in through the bushes down the first base line at Holman Stadium, saw Clemente, and drafted him at the subsequent winter meetings in December. And the rest is history. A first ballot Hall of Famer, one of the greatest players ever to play the game.
Kelly, I think I know a lot of baseball. I'd never heard that story.
Hey, that's cool, man. This guy right here is unbelievable with what he can answer. I just asked that because I don't know what that is. I just wanted to ask.
Yeah, and you know what it is, Kelly? It's basically giving opportunities to people that are on thick organization rosters that they don't have as much opportunity to get to the big leagues, matriculate to the big league team. So 29 other teams make a decision on that guy, and sometimes that guy becomes a really good player in the big leagues for a long time.
So, Danny, I guess I am shocked that the Angels are getting a lot of talk like they might keep him. Mm-hmm. Is any of this Ron Washington?
I think it's Ron Washington. I think it's Perry Manassian. And I also think it's the environment that they cultivated for him in Anaheim. I think they did a great job. I mean, if you think about it, George, there was a lot of, and we've talked about this, I was not in this group, but there were a lot of naysayers saying you can't do both. Not only did he do both, but he won the MVP 2 of the 3 years, and he's easily the best player in the game. It's the most unique skill set, and for me, the most exciting player I've ever seen in a big league uniform. So I think the Angels did such a masterful job and did it in such a professional way that they have kept themselves in the running. And not only that, George, it's never tough to wake up in Orange County. It's just, that's a gorgeous place. And, they've got a great spring training site. It's a pretty elite place to play baseball.
You realize you've been on with us for 28 minutes and I have not asked the A question?
Well, let's go. I think your guys made some good moves, George, preceding the winter meetings.
Okay, it feels like it's all being aimed at some asking price that the White Sox have established for Dylan Cease. Do you think that's what it is?
I think it might be. I think Alex always works stealth, George. You never see any of his stuff leak out. Having worked for him, that's a priority. I loved doing it that way because you could lurk in the background and nobody knew. And I think what he's doing, and I think some of his moves earlier this offseason indicate that he's trying to line up his club for a strike on an elite starting pitcher while also picking up a terrific young left fielder in Kelnick. I thought that was a very much under the radar move, and I give him a lot of credit. He shed some money at the same time the next day. I think that very quietly was one heck of a good deal.
If it's not Dylan Cease, who do you think it is?
I don't know. I was trying to think about that the other day, George, and one of the advantages that Alex has is because he keeps it so quiet, you don't know what his plan B, C, or D is. And that really helps you, George, this time of the year, because agents and clubs are always trying to figure out what the next step is for a club. And he never shows his hand, ever. But he strikes decisively I think you're going to see him play real hard on free agents and trades. I have no doubt in my mind that he is going to add an elite top of the rotation, 1 or 2 starter type guy. You do that to that club, that's an even better team than 2023.
Okay, last thing for you. If it
Yeah.
wasn't going to happen at the winter meetings, when is MLB going to tell the potential expansion cities, get your stuff together, we're ready to talk turkey?
George, I don't think it's that far away. I think we're looking in the next chronological year that a lot of things are going to start to move forward. I think now the Tampa Bay Stadium situation is done. Oakland's situation is still a little murky, but it's apparent that they're moving to Vegas. It's been approved within the last 30 days. So I think what you're going to see now is them focus their attention on the next round of expansion in Major League Baseball. There's no doubt in my mind that Nashville, Portland, and some other cities are going to be advancing their thoughts, their strategy and plans. And I think, your listeners and your viewers in Nashville have a one heck of a great chance of landing one of those expansion teams.
Okay, here's something I never said to Nick Hunter, and I want you to think about this. How would he have reacted if I had ever said, Nick, you are the best?
I think Nick would have agreed with you.
Humble as he always was.
Yeah, and I think that humble side of him showed its head once in a while. But no, I do think Nick might have agreed with you wholeheartedly. I ordinarily you'd say some people, I'll buy you a beer, but as we both know, he had extremely deep pockets, and he probably would have taken you somewhere where he didn't have to buy the beer.
Right. Well, let's also say this. On the day he passed away, you know how proud I was of that show. I think it would have stunned him that the people who had listened to him for, 20 years, that they felt the way they did about him. I think it would have blown his mind.
Yeah, one of the most emotional media shows I have ever been a part of, George. I think the community and his friendships, there was an outpouring of grief and an outpouring of emotion because he had touched so many people's lives in such a positive way. It was just it was a wonderful thing. And then, the day of his services in Nashville, that was one of the most fun nights I can remember in my lifetime. And that gray sweatshirt was in abundance that night.
Stains.
I ruined mine just to make sure. I bought a new one and destroyed it.
Just to make sure you qualified.
I wanted to make sure I could get in the room, George, very honestly. Yes, sir.
Well, he left me a great present when he introduced me to you, and I can't thank you enough for everything you've done this week. Being around you some was a blast.
Well, thank you, George. And I'll tell you what, the people in Nashville and their hospitality, it was just a great, great week in Nashville.
Amen. Talk soon.
Thanks, bud.
Danny Evans, he truly, you talk about number one, good guy, wired to the baseball community like nobody you know. It's incredible. We'll go to the break. We'll have stat of the day. Then we will review the underdog picks. I'll leave it like this. The victors got more victories, and us losers got another L. Stay tuned.
Convenience and value, 2 words that we expect when we do business. Our goal at JHA Company is to deliver just that, both to our school partners and to our customers. Whether you're purchasing photos, yearbooks, class jewelry, letter jackets, school spirit wear, or senior graduation products, we strive to make the experience easy, convenient, and cost-effective. Find out more at jhacompany.com or call 615-867-6345 for more information. JHA, one source, one company.
You were in a crash.
Yeah.
Your kids were in the car with you.
We're very lucky to even be telling this story to you. Nikki treated us like family, and she was very caring and loving, and I'm just so grateful for that. She was somebody I could trust, and being a veteran, that's so important to me. My kids are going to have a better life now because I don't have to worry about those expenses that we were out. Your family has really created a legacy of trust, and I would recommend you to anyone.
Star Physical Therapy was established in 1997 with one great mission: to serve. If you're hurting, don't wait to receive physical therapy. You don't need a referral to see their physical therapist, and early morning and evening appointments are available. Make the call to 615-673-1420 and get rid of that pain. Star Physical Therapy, the official health provider of Football Friday.
All right, I'm here with my buddy Chip Ward from Lincoln Home Loans. And Chip, it's football season, and it feels like it's moving season every time of the year, especially here in Nashville. Tell us about your business, Chip, and kind of introduce people to who you are and what you do here in the Nashville area.
Well, you're exactly right, Billy. It is definitely moving season, as it is most times, especially right here after Labor Day. Kids are back in school, and people are starting to think they want to get settled in before the holidays. And so what we are doing is right now we are getting a lot of people pre-approved for home loans. Inventory has ticked up a little bit. You know, it has been down, but it's rebounding a little bit. And right now is a good time to buy.
Chip, real quick before I let you go, tell people how they can reach you. And if someone is interested in your business, how would they reach out to you?
Well, sure. At Lincoln Home Loans, you can reach me at 615-500-7579. My URL for my application page is chipward.net, and my email address is simply chip@chipward.net. And so I'd love to hear from anybody. I can answer any questions about the whole home buying and financing process.
Top of the hour on a Thursday, stat of the day, brought to you by John English Antiques, Sports, and Cards out in Shelbyville. They're open during the week. You can find them Tuesday through Friday from noon to 5, and Saturdays from 10 a.m. to 5. Give them a call, 931-492-4304. All right, let's see what Matthew's got for us today. And I want to say we're going baseball, and we're going Juan Soto. Last year, Soto led the league with 132 walks. Who are the only other two players to have over 100 walks last season?
Kelly, I would think Ronald Acuna is one of them. People pitched around him a lot.
Yeah. I wouldn't have a clue.
Aaron Judge is the other. Those are the two I'm going with.
Oh, wow. Right. There you go. Good picks, George.
Oh, Olsen and Schwarber.
Wow. I thought about Matt Olsen. Kyle Schwarber. Schwarber, that's more just a great eye than being pitched around.
Yeah, because some guys are able to draw walks with it, even, you know, if they're not really.
Was Matt Olsen, did they walk him a bunch, George, intentionally, or is that another just great eye?
It's probably a little bit of both. Kelly, first of all, he didn't get anywhere near the recognition he deserved. He finished fourth in the National League Most Valuable Player voting. Billy, if you will, look up his numbers. It was something like 54 homers and 140 RBIs. And, you know, when that only gets you fourth in the MVP voting, I mean, that's now what it says is the National League had four absolute studs: Acuna, Matt Olsen, Mookie Betts, and Freddie Freeman.
Yeah.
I mean, that is unbelievable.
Yeah, he hit 283. He led the league in home runs with 54, and he led the league in RBIs with 139.
He comes in fourth. That's pretty unbelievable.
Yeah, and that's in a deal where nobody accused him of being on steroids. Matt Olsen, by the way, I've said this before, was a Vanderbilt commit to Tim Corbin, made the decision to go professional baseball instead and was on the first Sounds team in the new First Horizon Park.
Because he was an A originally.
He sure was.
Yeah.
Him, Matt Chapman, Joey Wendell, who just signed a big deal with the Mets. Really happy for Joey Wendell. You talk about a consummate pro. That early bunch that opened the new stadium, they had some studs.
Good team.
Yeah. Okay. So the 3 o'clock hour will be pretty much college football. We'll do the review of the underdog picks. Not that I really want to hear them, but here goes.
Here we go. Kelly had a win with Washington, and you're welcome for that, Kelly. I could have screwed that up royally. I know
you could have, but I wrote it down on a piece of paper and told you 1, 2, 3, 4, homie. If you would have screwed that up, me and you'd have had problems.
So were they number one on your list?
They were.
Yes.
Oh, well, then, I mean, why are you taking credit?
Well, you never know. Could have overthought it. Could have.
But I mean, is this
No, that's what I want. That's what I wanted. If you would have overthought it, I would have overthought you.
Did you write down a bunch and then you labeled? Because it looked like they weren't in order. Did you write them down?
No, don't try to go back on it now, Billy. I wrote all the teams down that I wanted, and I put them in order.
It appears to me, as a neutral observer, that what is going on in this particular case, Billy, is you trying to pump your own tires.
Well, I got to do it any chance I get.
Wow.
Anyway, Pogue, I mean, this is just embarrassing. He took Iowa. It was a desperation move.
Pogue did not want to be on the show today.
I don't blame him.
His team gained about 40 yards of total offense.
Yeah.
It was one of the better Iowa games, though. They kind of held Michigan. It was kind of a slugfest for a little bit. But
Kelly,
Iowa
could
lost.
their offense be better than it is?
No, their defense is really good, and that's got to be a deal right there. If you're in professional football and their defense is as good as they are, and you're not doing anything offensively, it's really bad. I don't know, George. I watched the quarter, and I didn't watch them play much this year. I just watched the quarterback, and it seems like just a little bit that I watched, he's a big old boy, which Iowa always has huge quarterbacks, but it seems like he struggles with decision making a little bit. So I don't know. I mean, yeah, they could have been better, but I don't think you're going many high places with him.
Badly inaccurate. Couldn't hit the broadside of a barn.
Well, he's their second string, I want to say, maybe even third string.
Yeah, you're right.
Because when McNamara went down, they
went down.
They were already not much of anything with McNamara. I mean, they were better, but he went down. It was
I mean,
bad.
If you're in Tennessee's film room and you're going to play Iowa,
yeah,
do you not think privately, Kelly, that they're kind of smirking when they look at Iowa's offense?
If you score 2 touchdowns, I mean, you should be in really good shape if you're Tennessee.
Yeah, Tennessee's offense hasn't necessarily been last year's Chiefs either, though.
No, but it should be good enough.
Yeah.
I mean, look, it's the biggest high wire act in the history of football that Iowa, with that crappy offense, won 10 games.
Seriously.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah. George, you put your faith in Diego Pavia.
Yes, a name that I have turned into a household name.
And he can't play defense, though.
No.
Neither can New Mexico State. They gave up almost a 50-burger to, I'm forgetting who they played.
Liberty.
49-35.
Yes.
And then Willy got a win, picked Alabama to beat Georgia, and they got it done.
That didn't help you much, Kelly.
Willy.
No, it really didn't. I didn't know. See, I didn't know, and I was like, I won, and I thought I would probably be the only one that won, and then I didn't realize because I thought, why did you go against what you did in the? Because you won in Willy's deal, did you not? Didn't you pick Alabama?
I think I did take Alabama.
You did take Alabama, so I just thought you were going to be the one winning. I thought you would take Alabama again, and then here you go. You let Willy have it.
Yeah,
so you kind of screwed Kelly.
It's loser's mentality. When you start losing as much as I have, you get bad thoughts, and you start screwing yourself in the deal. Look at the standings. Look how pathetic this is.
Oh, my gosh. Willy and Kelly. Kelly's narrowed that margin a little bit, but Pogue and Plaster, my gosh.
My goal is to basically dump Pogue into the cellar.
11 and a half.
Gotta be your goal now.
I mean, it really does. It's pitiful.
Did you hit a point this season where you were just picking big lines?
Yeah. What you're saying is when I gave up.
Yeah, when you just gave in.
September. Thank you. Okay, so those are the standings. Here's what we're going to do. Next week, we'll get everybody back together on Thursday, and we will pick I'll come up with a date, a cutoff date for the early bowls, the ones that will have some seats available, like the Bahamas Bowl, which will have all of the Bahamas available. And then the next week, we'll get into the big bowls, and we'll get into that. After the break, we'll talk some college football. We got a lot going on now off the field. One game this week. It's the Army-Navy Classic, and we'll have more in just a moment. The George Plaster Show is Nashville's best sports talk, 2 to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. There's a podcast version available on Spotify and Apple Podcast.
It was the most horrible experience that any mother could ever go through. I knew that I needed to get help. My friend, she immediately said, "You need to call Bart Durham." And you guys were there within an hour. You guys are like family for us.
Yeah, sure is nice to connect with the people that you're doing your best to help.
As the trusted premier custom home builder in Middle Tennessee, Daunic Timmons has over 20 years of experience in the industry. Whether you're looking to build your dream home or renovate your current home, their team will ensure that every client and every remodel is unique, luxurious, and completed on time within budget. Founders Dustin Timmons and Joey Donnelly have over 25 years of construction experience in the Nashville area. Together, they have completed projects in Forest Hills, Oak Hill, Green Hills, Franklin, and Brentwood. Dustin and Joey believe that communication is the most important aspect of all construction projects. Therefore, they personally manage each project themselves and are involved in job site activities on a daily basis. Their commitment to quality and integrity has earned them an outstanding reputation among their clients. Contact them to set an appointment for a free consultation or to view some of their completed projects. Give them a call at 615-456-7983 or log on to DonnellyTimmons.com.
Looking for more than just awards and trophies? Southern Trophy House is your one-stop solution. For over 60 years, their team has created lasting impressions with a personalized touch. From embroidery to screen-printed apparel to corporate awards, signs, and name badges, they have everything you need to keep your brand shining bright. With their knowledgeable customer service team, you can relax as they create, produce, pack, and ship merchandise and awards on time and on budget. That includes etched crystal awards, custom-cut acrylic, name badges, embroidered Richardson ball caps, banners, screen-printed T-shirts, laser-engraved Yeti cups, and knives. Recognize your hard-working team from Southern Trophy House, where they do their best to help you recognize your best. Located at 2705 Nolensville Pike in Nashville, give them a holler, 615-256-7295. Visit southerntrophy.com. Southern Trophy House, for all your personalization and recognition needs.
Okay, let's spend a few minutes talking college football. Kelly Holcomb, Billy Derrick alongside on a beautiful Thursday afternoon. So, guys, this is just one person's thoughts here. It's real easy at Alabama today to be excited about practice sessions leading up to the national title, in the semifinals and this incredible matchup with Michigan, which I believe will draw the largest TV audience in the history of the college playoff semifinals. I think it'll be enormous. But if you're Georgia and you've had the chance of winning a third national title ripped out, and you've got players on that team, a lot of them, who have an NFL future, Kelly, how in the world does Kirby Smart get a team to focus and be ready? That's got to be a letdown kind of game.
Absolutely. Like, I don't even know. I'm not even sure how you do that, George, with the way that this college football playoff is presented now. You've got all these kids that are skipping games. I think that says something about you, too. I really do. I like what Alabama did. We always go back to Alabama, but, Bryce Young played last year. Will Anderson played. They were out of the college football playoffs. They played Kansas State. But, Saban said, hey, you started this thing. You need to end it with your teammates. But there's not a lot of coaches that feel that way. They'll allow them to. I don't know how you get guys up for it. I really don't. And they've created a monster with this stuff. And if you don't have a chance to make, and maybe it'll be better next year when they go to 12 teams. I don't know, but there's always problems. But I just don't see how that you go through college. And I understand these guys are afforded with all this money that they're going to make, and they don't want to get hurt. I get that, but it's just I can't imagine not playing with the guys that I started with like maybe 4 years ago. I can't imagine looking in them in the eye and saying, and I'm going to the NFL, man. I'm not playing with you guys in the bowl, because that's what college is about. And as a coach, they're under all this scrutiny. They're under all this deal with the transfer portal, with the NIL, and this is one other thing that you have to get guys to come in and play in the bowl games, and you're going to get a lot of guys that say, "Hey, coach, I'm just stepping aside. I've got a chance to be a first round pick. I'm not doing it." So I really don't know how you do that, George. But you're talking about a letdown. You go from being the number one team all year, with the exception of 1 week, and then you get beat by Alabama and you have no shot. I mean, that's a huge letdown, and I'm not sure if you're Kirby Smart. I don't know how you do it.
So, Billy, think this one through. I'm going to get both you and Kelly to think about this since he brought it up. So, you go to a school, you're given a scholarship, and you also have an NIL deal. Shouldn't the school have the right to say, listen, if we go to a bowl, you're not allowed to skip it?
I think there are some coaches out there, and I agree. I think, but
I'm talking about in a contractual kind of basis.
Well, the thing is, the school isn't making the deal. That would be the collective.
Like hell, they aren't. I mean, look, you can hide behind all these semantics. If you think the school isn't in the middle of it, come on.
But I mean, most schools, I feel like it's the coach and the collective, like the staff and the collective.
Who do you think hires the collective? The school.
Well, why do they talk like that then? I mean, what?
Gobbledygook.
Have you watched any of the debates and see how they lie? I mean, they just lie about stuff all the time, Billy.
That's true.
I mean, it doesn't matter.
But the bad thing is you're sitting there watching it.
No, I hadn't watched it. I just watched some highlights. I mean, I can't even bring myself to watch that garbage.
But the players in today's day and age have a lot of more power than they used to.
Sure they do.
So I think that's probably the bigger problem. These players are walking into the coach's office and saying, "Hey, if you don't pay me, I'm leaving."
George, I think that's one of the deals. I think that's a great point right there that you just made, because that's how you leverage this stuff. Well, if you're not going to do this, then you're not getting any NIL money, or we're going to start taking it away from you.
No pay, no play. No play,
That's
no
correct.
pay.
Yeah, and so players have more power than they've ever had before. But I think George, most like Kirby Smart, for example, I think he'll be pretty good about. Like, I don't think you'll see a ton of opt outs. Like Alabama, Saban, I would imagine he brought Will Anderson and Bryce Young into his office and said, "Hey, I think y'all should play." I mean, and they're gonna. I mean, you're gonna listen to Coach Saban. I think Smart probably, I would think, has a similar hold on a lot of his players. So
I wonder.
But it'll be interesting.
And I don't mean that as a knock at Kirby. I don't know. First of all, Kelly brought up a great point. I don't know how Saban pulled it off a year ago because they were in kind of the same, program used to winning. And look, Ohio State, Kelly, is probably in this same boat as they get ready for their bowl game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, and the Kyle McCord kid he's already said he was transferring. He's already entered the transfer portal. So my question to you with all this, when you enter the transfer portal, I mean, they're done, right, Billy? I mean, they're not playing anymore.
Yeah, I've heard some stuff on Bo Nix. Not Bo Nix. Gabriel, I want to say.
Dylan Gabriel.
Yeah, he may. I've heard no one really knows of whether or not he'll play with Oklahoma in their bowl game yet. So, but I think for most people, Kelly, you're right. They're if they leave, they're out, right? Especially if they officially.
Hold on a minute. If they enter, am I right? They're no longer legally a part of that school.
That's kind of what I'm asking. I don't know. I don't know the legal ramifications of all that. I mean, I would, like, as a coach, if I see a kid, he's entered the transfer portal, he no longer wants to be with us, well, then I'm not carrying him on the bowl game. I'm not carrying him to the bowl game. So obviously that's got to be a deal. Like, if he enters the transfer portal, he has no more ties with the school.
Yeah, and should they push it back when the portal opens? I know they got, I don't know when spring ball starts for most teams, but why don't they do it after the championship game? Boom, portal opens that next Tuesday or whatever.
Okay, I'm going to read this, and I'm going to honor the person who sent me this, a football name that's very well known here, but I'm not going to use his name. But this is a football person who says, George, you are on it. Oh, by the way, last season, the Sugar Bowl and those players that played had a contractual agreement with Dr. Pepper. $1 million for each to play. It's already happening. Do not use my name.
Interesting.
To that person, thank you very much. I didn't know that.
You got to have some kind of leverage over it, man. I mean, and if they're going to do all this NIL stuff, I agree, George. I think schools, you need to say, hey, if we're not part of the college football playoffs, we're going to a bowl. You get no NIL money if you don't play.
By the way, I need a contractual arrangement with Dr. Pepper. I need to throw those footballs for 60 seconds. It would make my life a hell of a lot better. And then I wouldn't have to order that damn emergency pizza that Domino's keeps telling me about.
Did you see was it triple overtime in one of those Dr. Pepper? I think it was halftime of the ACC title. The Dr. Pepper, I forget which game it was.
Well, didn't they have a screw up in the counting in one of them?
I'm sure they did, but apparently
apparently, like, viewers called them out on it, and they ended up declaring both of them as winners.
Who knows?
That's what I need.
Who knows? Who cares?
Okay, so to the big game, the one that I believe will get the biggest semifinal ratings ever. Michigan, Bama, North versus South. Man, it's got kind of a Civil War kind of feel to it. Kelly, I have talked myself into believing that Alabama can win this game. Am I right?
I don't think there's any question Alabama can win the game. I don't think that I think Michigan wants to run the football, and I think Alabama has trouble with people that spread you out. I don't think they have trouble with people that like running at them. I think they have a game plan for that. But like the Johnny Manziels of past, when you spread Alabama out, that's how Hugh Freeze has done such a good job against Alabama. When you spread those guys out and you create running lanes, you can run the football on them. But if you line up with tight ends and with fullbacks and all that, which I think that Michigan likes doing, I think that plays into Alabama's hands. So I know that Michigan is a 1.5 point favorite, but I think this is very promising for Alabama to make it to another national championship game.
Michigan's a little bit of a different team than they were last year. I'll say that because they lost. They should have beat TCU in that semifinal. They just kind of, I don't know what happened. They just kind of choked. I think Michigan is probably the bigger, more physical team. Now I might be regretting those words there, but Michigan. I mean, if you go back and watch Michigan,
Your daddy
Ohio State,
doesn't agree with you. Did you see him?
I don't see that really.
Kelly doesn't see it.
I think the way that you beat Alabama in years past, you have to spread them out. And that's not what Michigan does. Michigan's not that kind of team. I think they're going to try to run the football, and they're going to have to prove me wrong. I don't think they can do it against Alabama. I really don't.
So let me ask this question. Has Michigan really run up on a Jalen Milroe type? And what I mean by that, more and more as he got more confidence, his ability to take a play that looked like it was breaking down and turn it into something really good, that became a huge weapon for them.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they're going to watch that Auburn tape because Auburn used a spy on him and they kind of shut him out a little bit. So, they're going to watch every tape. They're going to watch every play of this past season with Alabama, probably go back a year or so. But, I don't think they've played a guy like Jalen Milroe, and we've all talked about it. I don't think there's been a guy that has gotten better over a college football season from where he started to where he is now than Jalen Milroe. It's unbelievable the kind of job that Saban and Tommy Rees have done with him. And they allowed him to play football. They got his confidence up. He's kind of a difference maker, and I never would have thought that about him.
None of us did.
Right now, he's playing really, really good football.
They that last drive against Georgia, those first down runs, they just said, Jalen, go win it for us. Just go use your legs, man, and that's the X factor.
So, Kelly, in your opinion, what is that in Saban that allows that to happen?
Greatness.
I just think guys, when they go in that locker room, I think they believe in what he's doing. I think they buy in totally. I think they believe in what he's doing. They had a little bit of bumpy road. Every season has bumpy roads in it. And are you going to let those bumpy roads that you're going through tear the season apart? Or are you just going to keep going out there and you're going to every day try to get better work? I'm sure he preaches that. I've told you that my buddy Kevin Elko is a sports psychologist, but he's kind of inbred that in his mind about, hey, don't worry about judging right now. Just take the next play. Like that's what a lot of guys do. A lot of guys, they want to judge before the game's over with. And that's what Kevin taught me. Don't judge before the game's over with. We can judge afterwards. We'll go in and watch and, hey, that wasn't very good. But go on to the next play. And I think that's what Saban is really remarkable at. And those guys buy in with where they were in the beginning of the season to where they are now is totally different.
Billy, put the graphic up again of the two games. Tell you what it feels like, and I'm going back a long ways on this. In the early 80s, the year that Jim Valvano, am I right about that? The year that Valvano won it all, yeah, I think I'm right about this. NC State played the first game of the Final Four, followed by the one everybody wanted to see. Houston, Akeem Olajuwon, Louisville with all these high wire acts, Phi Slamma Jamma versus the closest thing to them. And this one has a little bit of that kind of feel, where game one is a Phi Slamma Jamma, and oh, by the way, Washington and Texas are playing. But it's just as important a game. Kelly, a week ago, I would have said, listen, who's kidding who? Texas is just simply better. But you know what? Washington's forced me to rethink it a little. What do you think?
Well, I was with you. I was all in last week when we both said that Washington could not beat Oregon with the way that Oregon was playing, and then they do it again. I mean, they beat them earlier in the year. Michael Penix made a play. They got down late in that game. Michael Penix made a play. and threw a back shoulder touchdown to that really good receiver. I can't even say his name.
Roma Dunze.
Aduze, that's it. Yeah, he's a really good player. And then the other day in that game, they allowed with the defensive coordinator. I still talk about it every game. He wants to rush 3 or they want to rush 2. You can't do that. You got to make a quarterback do something. And they went right down the field and scored. And then Washington got the ball back. And they had a very important third down because Oregon with Bo Nix had gotten into a little rhythm there. And Michael Penix made a play like he did in that first game. And I don't think you can count them out, George. I really don't. I don't know. I'm not sure. I know that Texas is a favorite in this game, and they played really well. I think Quinn Ewers is really, really good. I think their defensive line is really good on defense. So I don't know what's going on with that game, but I do know this. We've counted Washington out a couple of times, and they've kept showing us
they're still here.
They're there for a reason. Yeah.
Okay. I want you to use your quarterback guru kind of stuff for me on Ewers. There's no doubt Ewers is a very good thrower. Now, there are times where he might as well be in a wheelchair. He's got no mobility at all. For a kid that young, man, he can't move a lick. But Kelly, there are times, and I don't know if it's just me or if he's got such a strong arm that he doesn't have to follow through. But there are times I watch Ewers where I'm like, step into the throw.
Yeah, some guys can do that, George. I mean, you're looking at Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers doesn't have to step into his throw either a lot of times. And Brett Favre did the same. Brett Favre had the worst fundamentals. I loved watching him play. But that guy, like I watched some of his games on tape, and he was – and that's why he never got hurt because he would always throw – and he was backing up. And there was always
jumping.
Guys around his feet. But that's the habit that he got into. And that's why the guy never got hurt. So – you got some guys that are like that. I'm with you. Now, when Brett Favre wanted to throw it and he put all his momentum and he stepped into his throw, that's why all those guys had them mangled hands because he can throw that thing. Now, Quinn Ewers and he's played really well this year. He's played really good. He's been kind of injury-free. Last year he got hurt. I think they're really good. I think you could see a Texas-Alabama matchup to me.
Yeah,
I think that's kind of where that's going, but I don't know. I mean, we've talked about Washington, just talked about them. We've left them out. They're really good, and then Michigan's been there all year, and you said they're probably the best team in the country. And until somebody beats them, that's still holding true.
So, if that were to happen, it's a rematch of the game in Tuscaloosa in September. But Kelly, it's also the rematch of
the 2009 championship.
January. Yeah, but it was January of 10 where Colt McCoy
got hurt
in the game, and the kid Gail Gilbert played.
Gilbert,
and I guess it was Greg McElroy.
For
Alabama.
Absolutely.
That was Alabama's first national title. And how crazy would it be for Saban, if he does end up retiring after this season, his last one to be against Texas?
Are they talking about him retiring, Billy?
I'm hearing some rumors that if Saban wins it all, he's going to ride out into the sunset.
I could see it. I mean, but I'll believe it all when I do see it.
He's one of those guys that's like Bear Bryant, man. He's going to keep coaching, and if he ever stopped coaching, that's what happened to Bear Bryant. Bear Bryant coached, and then a couple of months later, he passed away. I mean, that's kind of their life, So I can't see him giving that up. Like I've heard from inside sources, I've heard from my buddy that he doesn't want to do it anymore, but then yet he comes back and he doesn't want to do. I was hearing this like 6 or 7 years ago.
Right.
He doesn't want to do it. The scrutiny's getting too much for him. He doesn't want to do it. Well, he comes back every year, and every year he's got a perennial power. It's crazy.
Well, it might not be up to him. It might be up to Miss Terry.
True.
Well, yeah, it's certainly not the Alabama AD. I'm ordering you to resign. Sure you are. Here's one for you. Last thing. We have one college football game this weekend. If you're looking for offense, this is not your game. So let me show you how this one will work. That's to the right, and then
George,
we'll run. to the left.
George, Navy's changed their offense now. They throw the ball more.
Yeah, I've seen them, Kelly. They get to 3rd and 11. It doesn't look all that sophisticated. Go down, go right. So the over-under is 28.5. The only lower over-under in recent years has been the Iowa season ticket, which every game second half of the year looked that way. Okay.
Hey, one more thing, George. I got a question for you since we're talking about college. What is the deal? Maybe this is for Billy too, but what is the deal last night where I saw that Florida said that they were going to boycott their bowl because they're upset about what happened to FSU. Is that a true deal? Is that a true statement? Have you seen that?
That, but I haven't seen it. But that's probably, would that be the senator involved there? Because I saw the Florida senator got involved. Maybe that he's roping Florida into
Here's
that.
a thought.
Maybe that's some fake stuff on the internet. I don't know, but we did see that last night.
You want to know what I think?
What?
We'll go to the break. Tonight's riveting Thursday night NFL game is the subject of the plaster bet of the day, which begs the question, why?
Why? It's a sleeper.
It absolutely is. We'll tell you what we think when we come back.
Family owned and operated for more than 2 decades, Alaco Fine Wood Floors is Nashville and Middle Tennessee's choice for premium quality hardwood floors. Since 1995, Jimmy Alaco and his army of employees have embodied the approach of taking pride in one's craft and providing superior customer service, growing from a one-man shop to a team of 23 professionals who share the founder's passion for quality craftsmanship and customer satisfaction. If you are interested in contacting them, you can find their headquarters at 2505 Winford Avenue in Berry Hill, or give them a call at 615-356-0303. Again, that's 615-356-0303, or log on to alacofinewoodfloors.com. Alaco Fine Wood Floors, serving Middle Tennessee's hardwood flooring needs since 1995.
You were in a crash.
Yeah.
Your kids were in the car with you.
We're very lucky to even be telling this story to you. Nikki treated us like family, and she was very caring and loving, and I'm just so grateful for that. She was somebody I could trust, and being a veteran, that's so important to me. My kids are going to have a better life now because I don't have to worry about those expenses that we were out. Your family has really created a legacy of trust, and I would recommend you to anyone.
Over the years, more men have started to seek help for hormone deficiencies and imbalances, and Dr. Jeffrey Lodge and wife Daphne, along with their experienced staff, give men the treatment required to improve their quality of life, improve your immune system, energy level, cognitive function, and more. There's no better time to achieve a healthy lifestyle. What are you waiting for? Give Cool Springs MD a call today for an appointment at 615-486-3458 or visit the website coolspringsmd.com. Star Physical Therapy was established in 1997 with one great mission: to serve. If you're hurting, don't wait to receive physical therapy. You don't need a referral to see their physical therapist, and early morning and evening appointments are available. Make the call to 615-673-1420 and get rid of that pain. Star Physical Therapy, the official health provider of Football Friday.
Convenience and value, 2 words that we expect when we do business. Our goal at JHA Company is to deliver just that, both to our school partners and to our customers. Whether you're purchasing photos, yearbooks, class jewelry, letter jackets, school spirit wear, or senior graduation products, we strive to make the experience easy, convenient, and cost-effective. Find out more at jhacompany.com or call 615-867-6345 for more information. JHA, one source, one company.
Riveting Thursday night game tonight. Steelers and Patriots. The over-under, 30.
What did they have last week? That was another stink bomb.
I can't even
What did they have
remember.
last Thursday? I'm
Maybe
going to
Kelly
look that
can
up.
enlighten us.
I'm going to look that up.
I'm thinking myself. I can't even remember.
Last Thursday night.
No, it was.
Seahawks and the Cowboys.
Yeah.
It wasn't a stinker.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, this one tonight will certainly be one that Amazon will be proud about, or whoever it is.
I'm sure that they'll find some things to talk about. Plaster's Bet of the Day brought to you by Bart Durham Injury Law. Give them a call at 615-242-9000 or log on to bartdurham.com. Let's check out what happened last night. A couple of wins. Lipscomb beat Belmont. Belmont won, but Lipscomb covered. So.
As I said would be the case.
Yes.
You did say that.
Did Memphis win outright?
Memphis won in OT.
Ooh,
I was very lucky on both of them.
I was watching the beginning of that.
Yeah, very lucky on both. So there's that gaudy record that, I'm proud of. You should be proud of, but apparently y'all are not. So I'm going to add to it tonight. New England, do they ever score?
No.
That's what I think.
No.
Pittsburgh, do they ever score?
No.
Barely. Mitch Trubisky, is it Zappy tonight?
I think so, yep.
Ooh. Those are NFL quarterbacks.
George, come on now. Come on now. It ain't easy being a quarterback.
No, I know it isn't. Pittsburgh wins by 7. We're taking them.
What is this?
Okay.
13-3 or what?
13-6, 16-9.
This is going to be 3
17-10.
Yeah, Belichick's done a really good job, don't y'all think, this year?
The first one to 12 wins. Kelly, let me ask you this.
Yes, sir.
Okay, there were all these rumors about 4 weeks ago that Kraft was going to fire Belichick, if they lost in wherever it was, in Germany, I guess, when they played over there. I've got to think that Kraft is in a real conundrum because my gut feeling is that Belichick is a very stubborn human being, part of which has served him well, part of which makes him a press conference nightmare.
Yep.
But I've got to think that Kraft deep down in his office is going, I do not want to be the man to fire the greatest coach in pro football history. How do you think that's going to end?
There's no doubt about that, George. I don't know how it's going to end, but I just can't see him firing the guy that's been so successful. But it just goes back to what I said months ago. Bill Belichick is an old school guy. When they were winning, the old school stuff works when you're winning. When you've got a guy in Tom Brady that kind of meshes everything together, and they might not like the surroundings or how things are done the Patriot way, but when you're winning and you having chances to go to Super Bowls, it always works out. But when you start losing and you're in this new age of guys, stuff don't work anymore. It doesn't work anymore. And I don't think Kraft wants to do that. I don't think he's going to do that. I don't think that'll ever happen. It could. I mean, it could. But it just goes to show you that when Bill Belichick, he's kind of a curmudgeon type of guy. And I've heard of guys that I've had teammates that go there that love it. I've had teammates that go there that absolutely hate it. And if you got a guy that can bring it all together like Tom Brady did and win games, it's all good. But once you start losing, everybody wants to bail and nobody wants to go there.
The Patriot way.
Let me try this one. Let's just say that it happens. That Belichick either says, I've had enough of this. This isn't as much fun as it was 3-4 years ago. I'm getting out. Do you think Vrabel's struggles here hurt him as a potential candidate there?
No.
Tell me why.
I don't. I just don't. I think he's so beloved up there. He played up there. I just do not. I think that if that ever happens in Robert Kraft, I think he'll be one of the leading candidates. Absolutely. And I don't think it matters what happened here, because I think that he thinks Robert Kraft will say, "Hey, we'll get him guys around him." He's not Bill Belichick, but he's close to Bill Belichick. He can relate better to the players. We know him. We're comfortable with him. I don't know. I could be totally wrong. But I think that he'll be given an opportunity to go there if that ever happens.
Okay, I'm assuming you're off tomorrow, correct?
Golfing, baby.
That's disgusting. It really is. While I'm toiling away, sweating.
I normally go see my mother. I've told you that, and I'm going to see my mother afterwards. So that's why I did. I took off on the Fridays, because my mom's in a home, and I'd like to go see her. So I'm actually going to play golf early, and then I'm going to see her afterwards.
Okay. I'm toiling away. We have a great show tomorrow. Mark Griffin will sort of make his 2023-24 debut. We'll talk a lot of SEC basketball, including his beloved Tennessee Vols, who have a kid named Dalton Connect, who has connected. He's really good.
He is.
Then in the 3 o'clock hour, we'll go up to Chicago. Scott Merkins, who covers the White Sox for MLB.com, is going to try to find out what went on in this meeting between Jerry Reinsdorf and Nashville Mayor Freddie O'Connell. My guess is they did not discuss, the Ryman Auditorium. Kelly, I don't think they discussed 2nd Avenue or the Gulch. I think Reinsdorf said, build me a park.
I think you're probably right. That's why they're meeting.
We'll find out more tomorrow. Have a good weekend, Kelly.
See y'all.
Billy, your work is never done.
No, it's not.
We'll see you tomorrow.